I'm just sitting here thinking, like, how can anything get worse for them? But for some reason, I think that like 2025 is going to be an even worse year.
John DLC, you know what I've been thinking about lately?
What you been thinking about, man?
I've been thinking about the downfall of Dawah lately, you know? I think a beautiful example of this is Mohammed Hijab. He's in trouble, man. Secret messages, secret wives, people that's just trying to hide his stuff. He's been making huge blunders that has affected like the people that follow him very largely. It's been happening since he's been debating in Speaker's Corner and David Wood and all that stuff. So I thought it'll be fun for us to take a look at some of these huge blunders. So one of the funniest blunders that comes to mind, man, is when he was debating David Wood. He made an astounding admission and he didn't even realize it when he did it. Look at this.
And he's here saying that he prays to the Prophet. There's a difference between yusalli lahu and yusalli ala in the Arabic language. I knew this was going to happen. I
just want to join in on this. I think it's worth applauding here. We knew it was going to happen, Mohammed Hijab. Go ahead and explain what's the difference here. Go ahead and tell us.
I knew I was going to have to give you a free Arabic lesson here today.
MashaAllah.
And that's why the translators put for, not to the Prophet.
Oh no.
What did he just say?
He just said, guys, that Allah prays for the Prophet, not
Well, that makes it all right.
Now,
that makes it all right.
Oh man.
That fixes it.
either way you go, he's praying, man.
That's the point, man. Like, so he's affirming David's point, and this is when Mohammed Hijab was just starting. The blunders began with him, and they're gonna end with him.
But you know what's funny? Why are the Muslims clapping?
Allah praise, guys. Yeah.
He prays for. Oh, okay.
Straight zombies. Now, what do you guys think of something like this does? You know, you have somebody, you know, in the Muslim community, pretty huge, who's acknowledging that Allah prays, but then the Muslims are clapping, like, yeah, you did it. You sure did show him when he repeated word for word what David said, that Allah prays for Muhammad. What is this? How does this reflect on the Muslim people when they're clapping for this stuff, man?
It just shows the herd mentality, you know, mob mentality,
Yeah.
that like, yo, this is our guy. We have to back him. We have to support him no matter what. Even if he says something that we don't even agree with, we have to support him. So it shows you that even in their own religion, they'll say things that they don't think are true just so they can support the guy that is behind the microphone.
Yeah, which reminds me of another blunder that he made here. I think it'd be fun for us to look at here.
That's, you know, he's been referred to as Emmanuel, etc. God is with us. Elijah is also, the word Elijah in the Hebrew language means God is with us.
Oh,
So if
no.
that makes Jesus God, then Elijah is also a God.
Oh, no.
If Jesus is God because he's identified as Emmanuel, God with us, then Elijah is also God because Elijah, guys, also means God with us. Did you guys know that? That Elijah means God with us in Hebrew?
I don't know that. I don't think anyone in the world knew that before Mimi just told us.
So Mohammed Hijab, hopefully you've learned by now, Elijah, Eliyahu, means my God is Yahweh.
It doesn't mean God is with us?
Doesn't mean God is with us.
Oh,
Doesn't actually. You know what? I looked it up. I did just a quick little search in our time here. And what pops up is this. Exactly what Jai said. Eliyahu means my God is Yahweh. That's what it means here. Not God is with us or God with us. What in the world is he talking about, Habibi? Come on.
And this is their guy.
Yeah.
They're clapping for him and they're cheering for him. And he's saying false information time and time again.
Now, here's the thing, because, you know, there's such thing as making mistakes. You can retract, like we all do. We make mistakes, we misspeak, but you got to be honest and humble enough to be like, okay, yeah, I misspoke or I made a mistake there, and go with the correction. He never does. He doubles down or tries to lie about what he said.
There is actually a clip of Mohammed Hijab doing that very thing at Speaker's Corner, where he actually says, oh, you thought I was saying praise? I was saying praise, like praise, praise.
Exactly.
It's praise, Praise, not P-R-A-Y.
But we all know what he was saying.
But you can't praise for.
Right.
If you're going to praise, there's no to or for.
At Speaker's Corner, look at what our guy is admitting here.
If you look just at the Quran, you will get the indication that you can have sexual intercourse with a 5-year-old. haram to have sexual intercourse with a 5-year-old is not found in the Quran at all. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us who you can divorce and who you cannot divorce. And then he says, وَاللَّائِي لَمْ يَحِدْنَ, and the ones who had never been pubescent before. The reason why we don't have sexual intercourse with 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds or whatever is not because of puberty.
Whoa.
What did you say? It's not because of puberty, because that verse.
He even said, he said, "Whoa, what did you just say?" He, you know, he understands how that hits the ear.
Yes.
You know, so he's like, "Whoa, what did you say?" He's like, I said what I said.
And look at the faces of those Muslim women.
Mhm.
Look at those faces.
Yeah, what y'all gonna say? Let's see him do this again.
With 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds or whatever is not because of puberty. Wait a minute, what did you say? It's not because of puberty, because that verse in the Quran actually says lam yahid. They never had puberty before. The Quran doesn't say anywhere in the Quran that the woman has to be pubescent. I dare you to find one verse in the Quran where it says you're not allowed to marry someone based on harm, or you're not allowed to have sexual intercourse based on harm, or you're not allowed to marry someone based on puberty.
Did you guys hear that, Muslims? This is a challenge to you. Your hero is challenging you. He says, bring me one unequivocal verse, one unambiguous statement where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself says that you're not allowed to marry someone based on pubescence, based on harm, based on maturity. Give me one verse. This is what he challenges you to do. Wow. Very clear in the Quran.
Yeah, the clear Quran is very clear on that point.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Very detailed and explained. Now he thinks he's making a case. He thinks he's doing a favor because he's arguing against the Quran only Muslim here in the context, and he thinks he's doing like he's making a, you know, like he's really showing it, you know, like he's about to damage this Quran only position, which it does. But bruh, you are a Muslim. This is your book, and you are acknowledging that based on your book alone, it is very clear and explicit that child marriage is okay, that there's no age. 5-year-olds are something that we've been telling you guys from day one, but we get called Islamophobes. It's cool when he do it. It's a problem when we do it, man.
Give me one verse in the Quran which says the woman has to be pubescent. You know, in the Quran it says حُرِّمَتْ عَلَيْكُمْ أُمَّهَاتُكُمْ. It says you're not allowed to marry your mum. It says you're not allowed to marry your sister or your auntie. Where does it say you're not allowed to marry a prepubescent? I'm looking for one verse that you can say, you pinpoint it and say this is where it says prepubescent marriage or whatever is not allowed. So if you're Quran alone, you're steered towards pedophilia, and a severe type of pedophilia, a wife abuse, a severe type of wife abuse.
Whoa.
Wow.
What did you hear what he just admitted to?
Yes.
It's better than us.
Wow.
It's better apologies than us.
That is crazy.
Yes. Yes.
That is your book, dude.
Mhm.
You're talking about your book.
Mhm.
Man, talk about throwing under the bus.
Abuse and pedophilia, he said.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
You can't argue against it if you are a Muslim and you follow the Quran. You cannot say that the Quran does not teach this. Imagine being a Muslim, a young Muslim. You're like, man, I feel like he crushed David Wood. Man, he's killing it at Speaker's Corner. Man, Mohammed Hijab he's doing it. You know, he just destroyed William Lane Craig. And you open this clip. What do you think that does, man?
That's their guy. That's their guy.
And he is correct. That verse, Surah 4, verse 23, lists all the women that you can't, do it with. And there's a long list: mothers, sisters, aunts, paternal and maternal, etc., etc., etc. Not one of that list is prepubescent girl.
Let's see. There's another clip that we want to see. I think it's probably the biggest, most destructive blunder that Mohammed Hijab has done of all time. You guys have an idea what I'm talking about?
I think it has something to do with holes.
I think it has something to do with holes, man. I think it has something to do with holes. Let's check this out. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Who remembers this fateful day?
One question to try and make this as specific as possible. I think if I were to give you a blank mushaf, yeah, and tell you to write what is munazzal verbatim from Allah into that mushaf with no human interference, would you write something which corresponds?
It's not an easy answer. It's not an easy yes or no. It is enough for the Muslim to believe that the
I think
Quran
this should be an easy yes or no, though. Yes, I have to.
Okay, very, very well. So, yeah, Muhammad, after we get off this phone call, me and you, let's have a number of discussions. No problem. I'm very open with advanced students. But these issues should not look. It is kalamullah. What is going to be written? It is kalamullah. It is
what would you write?
Let's not. You're pushing me, and I'm saying it's not hikmah to listen. I have a condition. Like I said, everything I say is going to be factual. If I wanted to do tawdiyah and whatnot, I would do it right now in front of you. There is no need for tawdiyah. The Quran is the uncreated speech of Allah. The Quran is preserved. The Quran is known. The Quran is mutawatir. And alhamdulillah, all of the qira'at are the Quran. All of the qira'at are authentic. Alhamdulillah. Leave it at that, ya akhi. Beyond this, honestly, I have no problem. We'll have discussions or take my class. But beyond this requires background information. It is enough for the Muslim to know that the Quran is the speech of Allah that has been protected, and what we recite is the kalam of Allah. That is enough for the Muslim to know.
I appreciate what you're saying, but
I appreciate you saying that, but but I need you to tell me if you can do this verbatim. Can you take a blank book and put down the words of Allah, then the Quran, exactly the same? Now, Jai and DLC, please, there were some Arabic words being used there. And what were they referring to, man? And why was Yasser Qadi so tentative and hesitant to go into Hijab's, game there?
Okay, so the answer to your last question, why was he tentative, is because he knows it's a lie that they've been telling Muslims. The Mus'haf, which is the Quran, is the same from the mouth of Muhammad till now, and there is no doubt what it is, and it's all the same everywhere. Because if that's the case, he could have written it down. The Arabic words, he said blank Mus'haf. A Mus'haf is a copy of the Quran, like that. It's a physical copy. Okay. So he said, would you write something without any interference from humans? As we know that Allah said, would you write something that corresponds to what we have? And he said, it's not an easy yes or no.
It's not an easy yes or no. Wow.
Yeah, so you could use that if you want to any Muslim who says we have one Quran, or you could use some of our other material about what the differences are between the different ones to show why Yasir Qadi would have said that. And the Arabic word that he used, he said, I could use tawriya right now, but I'm going to be straight with you. So tawriya is a form of Islamic lying.
Wow.
where you use double meanings, or what is called double entendre, a double meaning, or being ambiguous on purpose to give a different impression than what the truth is.
Wow.
So imagine if you had a New Testament scholar on the channel and you were asking about the text of the New Testament. And imagine if he said to you, this is a scholar, and he said to you, well, I could lie to you about this. What would you, this is their scholar. He's saying he could lie to him, and it just mind blowing. So after this interview, they both upload on their channel. Soon after, comments are disabled. Soon after, that part is edited out. Soon after, they're completely deleted off their channels entirely, and they're copyright striking anybody who's clipping them or playing them on their channels.
Yeah.
That's what happened after that. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and I've heard thousands have left Islam because of that very topic. Thanks, Mohammed Hijab. Thanks, Yasir Qadi. And that's their scholars.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Now it's something like this, as heavy as this is, because it's dealing with the Quran, and this people convert to Islam because they're told that the Quran is the only book in history that has been divinely preserved, right? They try to compare it to the Bible. The Bible has textual variants, so you can't trust that. None of these books have been perfectly preserved right down to the letter, but the Quran, that's the only one that has this unique type of preservation. And so when this hit the airways, it blew the Muslims' minds. Like, they could not believe it, that this was really said. And it's being, it's an interview being had by one of their heroes, Mohammed Hijab. And Mohammed Hijab, right there in the video, he's not correct. He's not correcting the guy, and he doesn't have the ability to correct it. He's not the scholar that Dr. Yasir Qadi is. He can't contend against what he's saying. So that he's the one who's the student listening and asking the question, hoping that he's going to confirm the bias of all the Muslims. And he got his bubble busted Got it. Which leads to the final thing I want to mention, what's lately been going around. Now, you guys have been more informed about what's going on lately with it. Now, what do you guys think the effect is when it comes to his secret relationship, the texts being, coming out, the Dawah guys trying to team up to help cover it up? What are y'all's thoughts on this stuff, man, and its effect?
So Mohammed Hijab and as the great strategist that he is, before this scandal came out, him and Ali Dawah went on a podcast called The Bitter Truth podcast, just to show the kind of lives that they lead, and talked about lying to your wife, having secret wives, and how it's allowed in Islam. That didn't cause a stir. What caused the stir is the scandal coming out, showing that he did have a secret wife, and that he probably lied to his first wife about it, because the secret wife said that the first one didn't know about it. And the second secret wife is scorned. She doesn't like how she was treated. She was treated as a physical object, discarded after she was used. That happened in June 2023, where the marriage only lasted less than a month. Used and abused and discarded.
And sort of some takeaways you can get from that is how these Muslims operate. You get like an insight as to how they operate. There ended up being a Dawah Diddy list. 75. I'm gonna say it again. A Dawah Diddy list. 75 Dawah guys in a group chat, people conspiring. How do we keep this a secret? How do we lie? How do we make her look like she's lying? This tells you that even though they know something is true, that they're willing to lie to cover it up. It gives you sort of an insight as to how they operate, so that they all know, because they're making jokes in this group chat about the fact that Mohammed Hijab really did Islamically marry this lady, and that he really did Islamically divorce this lady, really. But in public, they're all denying it.
Right.
But we know now that they all know about this. So this just gives an insight as to how they operate. So this is why we call it the fall of Dawah, because now we know that you guys are, not that it's a surprise to us, but now we know as a matter of fact that even amongst yourselves, like they're lying to their own Muslim people. They're not putting out these videos to convince God Logic or to convince us or to convince you if you're a Christian. They're putting out these videos to convince Muslims.
Yeah.
So they're willing to lie to their own people, something that they know is not true. They're willing to lie to them just so they can preserve a certain image because they think that it makes Islam look good. So we've been saying this for years. You've been saying this for years, that we know Muslims are willing to lie for Islam. Well, this is the ultimate proof right here.
So there you guys have it, man. One of the most beautiful examples of Dawah fails in recent history. Mohammed Hijab, blunder after blunder after blunder, year after year after year. And now he's in a tight fix here. And it's going to be interesting to see, one, how the Muslims respond to all of this truth coming to light, this stuff done in the darkness coming to light. How will the Muslims respond to this? And how will it affect them? This will be interesting to see.
In the Quran, chapter 4, verse 59, it actually says that the Muslim faith is contingent not just upon Allah, not just upon the messenger of Allah, Muhammad, but also upon those who have authority amongst the Muslim people. So these Dawah guys, they have a lot of authority amongst the Muslim people. So the believers in Islam, their Islam is contingent upon these people. So when we see these guys fall, we think of it as one way, someone else might think of it as another way, but for a Muslim, their faith is affected.
Yeah, it's rocked.
Because that's what Islam teaches.
Well, thank you guys for coming, man. Thanks, Jai and DLC for popping up over this on this video, man. This was a fun one to make. I can't wait to do more with you guys, man.
Anytime.
Make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe to the archive. As you guys are seeing this, hit that like button, hit the comment section. Which one do you guys think is the biggest blunder from Mohammed Hijab? Let us know in the comment section, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.